What if Jamie Fraser's return from the dead was not the end of his story, but the beginning of something far more dangerous? After everything Claire and Jamie have survived, their story should have ended with peace. But what if the final moments of Outlander were actually hiding one last journey? Jamie has already crossed the impossible. Claire has discovered the full power of her healing, and the boundaries between the past, present, and future have never felt thinner. Now imagine a Season 9 trailer opening with Claire looking at Jamie and realizing that something has changed. He survived death, but perhaps he did not return exactly the same. And if Jamie can now cross the boundaries of time just like Claire, their greatest adventure may still be ahead of them. The question is no longer whether Jamie and Claire will find their way back to each other. The real question is where time will take them next. Because if Outlander Season 9 ever happens, it could give us the one thing fans have wanted for years. More Jamie and Claire, more family, more mystery, and one final journey that could connect every part of their story. The ending of Outlander left us with one huge feeling. Jamie and Claire finally survived everything that was supposed to destroy them, but we were not ready to say goodbye. After years of war, separation, betrayal, loss, time travel, and impossible choices, the two of them finally reached a moment where death itself could not keep them apart. And that is exactly why a possible Season 9 becomes so interesting. Because if the story were truly finished, why leave us with so many unanswered questions? Why show us Jamie's ghost visiting Claire? Why show Jamie creating the flowers that would eventually bring Claire to him? Why reveal that Claire's healing power had reached a level we had never seen before? And most importantly, why bring Jamie back from death only to end the story immediately afterward? It feels like there is still another chapter waiting to be told. The first thing Season 9 would have to deal with is Jamie himself. Think about everything this man has experienced. Jamie has been imprisoned, tortured, separated from Claire, forced into battles, and pushed into situations where he believed death was the only possible ending. But the finale changed everything. Jamie actually died, and Claire refused to let him remain dead. Through the strange and almost magical connection between them, Claire was able to bring him back. That means Jamie is no longer simply the man who survived countless battles. He is a man who has literally crossed the line between life and death and returned. And if the writers wanted to make Season 9 more mysterious, this could become one of the most important parts of the story. Because what happens to a person after they come back from something like that? Does Jamie remember everything that happened while he was dead? Did he see something? Did he experience another place? Did he meet someone? Or did he simply feel Claire calling him back? These questions could give Season 9 an entirely different atmosphere. Jamie might be alive again, but perhaps his connection to time has changed. After all, we already know that his spirit was able to appear to Claire long before she fully understood who he was. His ghost could cross time and space to find the woman he loved. So, why should we assume that this ability disappeared when Jamie returned to his body? This is where one of the biggest theories for Season 9 could begin. What if Jamie can now travel through time? At first, this sounds impossible, even for Outlander. Claire has always been the one connected to the stones and the strange forces surrounding time travel. Other characters have also shown signs of being able to hear the mysterious buzzing or interact with gemstones. But Jamie has always seemed different. He does not need to travel through the stones to connect with Claire across time. His spirit already found her. That could mean Jamie's connection to time is not the same as Claire's. Maybe he has his own way of crossing between different moments, and his experience with death has somehow unlocked it. Imagine what that could mean for their future. Jamie and Claire would no longer be limited to one period in history. They could potentially witness events they have only heard about. They could encounter people from different generations of their own family. They could discover pieces of their story that they never knew existed. And because this is Outlander, every journey would come with a price. But there is something even more important than time travel. Jamie and Claire finally deserve time together. For most of the series, their relationship has been about surviving. They rarely get the chance to simply wake up beside each other and enjoy a peaceful life. Every time they think the danger is over, another war begins. Every time they reunite with their family, another separation follows. Every time Claire believes she has finally found a home, history pulls them somewhere else. Season 9 could change that pattern. For the first time, Jamie could look at Claire and decide that he does not want to fight another war. He has spent too much of his life preparing for battles. He has lost too many people. He has watched friends die, watched families break apart, and even accepted his own death because he believed it might save the people he loved. But now he has been given something he never expected: another chance. And Jamie would probably understand that chance better than anyone. He could finally choose his family. That would give us a completely different version of Jamie Fraser. Instead of seeing him preparing for another battle, we could see him trying to understand the life he almost lost. He could spend more time with Claire, he could reconnect with his children, and one relationship in particular could become extremely important: Jamie and William. Their relationship has always carried so much unfinished emotion. William finally learned the truth about Jamie, and the two began moving towards something that could have become a real father and son relationship, but just when that door opened, the story moved forward again. Jamie's fate pulled him toward the battlefield, and William was left without enough time to truly know his father. That is one of the biggest reasons a season 9 could be so emotional. Imagine Jamie finally having the time to sit down with William without war hanging over them. No battlefield, no secret identity, no immediate danger. Just a father and son trying to understand each other. Jamie could tell William about the choices he made, the mistakes he regrets, and the life he had before William knew who he really was. William could finally ask the questions he has carried for years, and Jamie would have to face something difficult. William doesn't need a hero. He needs a father. That could become one of the most powerful themes of Season 9. Jamie has spent his entire life trying to protect the people he loves, but protection is not always the same thing as being present. If he truly has another chance, he might realize that the greatest thing he can give his family is not another victory on a battlefield. It is his time. And this is where Claire could become even more important. Claire has always understood Jamie in a way very few people can. She knows the warrior, but she also knows the man underneath the armor. She knows how much pain he hides and how often he carries responsibility for things that were never completely his fault. After bringing him back, Claire might become more protective of him than ever before. She may begin wondering whether his return came with consequences. Because Claire is a healer, but she is also a woman who understands that some things should not be possible. She brought Jamie back. That alone could have consequences. Maybe Claire begins noticing strange changes in Jamie. Perhaps he starts remembering things that happened before they actually happen. Perhaps he hears the same mysterious buzzing that other time travelers have heard. Perhaps he dreams about places he has never visited. Or perhaps he begins seeing people from different points in history. And if that happens, Claire will have a choice. Does she try to stop it? Or does she follow him? Of course, we already know what Claire would probably choose. She would follow Jamie. That is what makes their relationship so powerful. No matter how strange the journey becomes, Claire has never been willing to let Jamie face it alone. And Jamie has always done the same for her. Their love is not simply about romance anymore. It is about two people who have spent decades choosing each other, even when history itself seemed determined to separate them. That could lead to one of the most exciting possibilities for Season 9. Jamie and Claire traveling together again. But this time, they wouldn't simply be trying to get home. They might be trying to understand where they belong. Because after everything they have experienced, home may no longer be a single place or a single period in history. Their family has become scattered across generations. Their children have their own lives. Their grandchildren may have connections to different periods. And the strange rules surrounding time travel continue to create questions that Claire still hasn't completely answered. Then there is another mystery that could become extremely important: the gemstones. The story has already shown us that gemstones are connected to time travel. We've also seen other characters experience the strange buzzing associated with them. And if another member of the family has discovered that same connection, that cannot feel accidental. This is where the story could become much bigger than Jamie and Claire. Their family may be part of something that has been happening for generations. Perhaps time travel is not simply a strange ability possessed by a few people. Perhaps there is a deeper pattern connecting all of them. Maybe the people who can travel through time are being pulled towards certain moments for a reason. Maybe certain events have to happen exactly as they did. And maybe Jamie's return from death has changed something that was never supposed to change. If that is true, then Jamie and Craigh could find themselves facing their biggest mystery yet. And this time, the enemy may not be another army. It may be time itself. That would give Season 9 a perfect balance. We could finally get the peaceful family moments we've been waiting for, while still having the mystery and danger that made Outlander so addictive. Jamie could spend time with William. Craigh could finally enjoy being with her family. Roger and Brianna could continue building their future. Ian and Rachel could begin their own family journey. But underneath all of that happiness, something strange could be happening, something connected to time. And Jamie might be the key. The most emotional part would be watching Craigh slowly realize that the man she brought back may have a connection to the world of time travel that neither of them fully understands. She would want answers, but she would also be terrified of losing him again. After all, Craigh has already experienced the worst possible outcome. She watched Jamie die, she stayed with him when everyone else was gone. And then she somehow brought him back. Would she risk losing him again? Probably not. But if Jamie's ability is connected to their family and their future, they may not have a choice. And that is where a Season 9 trailer could leave us with its biggest question. Jamie survived death, Craigh conquered the impossible, their family survived history, but what happens when history starts coming for them again? Because if the story continues, Jamie and Claire's final journey should not simply be another battle. It should be something deeply personal. It should force them to look at everything they have built and ask whether they are finally ready to let go of the past, or whether the past still has one last secret waiting for them. And if that secret involves Jamie's ability to cross time, the next chapter of Outlander could become something we have never seen before. The man who spent his entire life trying to protect Craigh may finally discover that he has another extraordinary ability, and Craigh may be the only person capable of helping him control it. But there is one problem. If Jamie can cross time now, they may not be the only people who can find their way through it. And that could change everything. If Jamie can truly cross through time after returning from death, then Season 9 could take the story into territory we have never seen before. But there is another question that may be even more important. Why Jamie? Why would the man who never seemed to possess the same time-traveling ability as Craigh suddenly become connected to it? There has to be a reason. And if the writers wanted to make Season 9 bigger, darker, and more emotional, this mystery could become the heart of the entire story. Craigh has spent years trying to understand the rules of time travel, but even she does not know everything. She knows the stones can carry people through different periods. She knows gemstones can be connected to the process. She knows some people can hear the strange buzzing before traveling. And she has learned that time does not always behave the way ordinary people expect. But Jamie has always been the biggest mystery. His connection to Craigh existed across time even before Craigh understood what was happening. His ghost appeared to her decades before they truly met, which means something was connecting them long before either of them understood why. And now, Jamie has crossed the boundary between life and death. That could be the missing piece. Perhaps Jamie's connection to time was always there, but he never needed to use it. Maybe his soul could move through time, even when his body could not. His ghost found Craigh because their bond was strong enough to overcome the normal rules of time. And if Craigh has now pulled that same soul back into his body, perhaps the connection has become stronger. That would explain why Jamie might begin experiencing strange things after his resurrection. At first, he might think they are only dreams. He could wake up remembering conversations that have not happened yet. He could describe places he has never visited. He might recognize people he has never met. Claire would probably dismiss the first few incidents because she has seen enough strange things in her life to know that the mind can behave strangely after trauma. But eventually, the pattern would become impossible to ignore. Jamie would not simply be dreaming, he would be seeing time. And that would terrify Claire. Not because she does not believe in time travel, she obviously does. The problem is that Jamie's ability could be completely different from hers. Claire knows how dangerous time travel can be. She has seen people disappear, families become separated, and history change lives forever. She knows that traveling through time is not an adventure without consequences. So when Jamie starts seeing the future, Claire would probably want him to stop. But Jamie might not be able to. And this is where their relationship could be tested in a completely different way. For years, Claire has been the one with the mysterious ability. Jamie has been the person trying to protect her from the dangers surrounding it. He followed her through impossible situations without fully understanding what he was getting himself into. He trusted Claire because he knew that wherever she went, he wanted to be there. Now the roles could be reversed. Jamie could become the person connected to something Claire cannot control. And Claire would have to experience what Jamie has felt for years. The fear of loving someone who is constantly being pulled towards something dangerous. That alone could create some incredible emotional moments. But there may be another reason why Jamie's new ability matters. His family. Because if Jamie can travel through time, then and if Claire can bring someone back from death, then what else can she do? That question could become dangerous. Because healing someone who is dying is one thing. Bringing someone back after they have already died is something completely different. Claire herself may begin to wonder whether she crossed a line. Maybe the blue light was not simply a sign of her power. Maybe it was a doorway. And perhaps Jamie was not the only thing on the other side. That would make Claire's ability just as important as Jamie's. He may be connected to time. She may be connected to life. Together, they could represent two sides of something neither of them fully understands. And if that is true, then their story may not be ending at all. It may be reaching its most important point. Because Jamie and Claire have always been connected by more than love, their bond has affected time, history, and generations. Their relationship has created a family that exists across centuries. Now they may finally discover why. And that discovery could take them somewhere completely unexpected, perhaps even the future. For years, fans have imagined what it would be like to see Jamie and Claire in the modern world. Claire already understands modern technology because she lived there. Jamie, however, would be entering a world that would feel almost impossible to him. Imagine Jamie seeing cars, airplanes, phones, computers, and modern cities after spending most of his life in the 18th century. It could be funny, it could be emotional, but more importantly, it could show us just how much Jamie has changed, because Jamie's greatest strength has never been his ability to understand the world. It has been his ability to adapt to Claire's world. He did it when he learned to accept that she came from another time. He did it when he realized that the impossible was real. And if Claire ever asked him to step into the future, he would probably take her hand and go. Because that is Jamie. He does not need to understand the journey before he begins it. He only needs to know that Claire is beside him. And that is exactly why a possible season 9 could be so special. It would not simply be about adding another season. It would be about showing us what happens when two people who have spent their entire lives fighting for survival finally get the chance to choose their own destiny. But before they can enjoy that freedom, there may be one final secret they have to uncover. A secret connected to the stones. A secret connected to their family. And perhaps a secret connected to Jamie himself. Because if Jamie's ghost could cross time before he died, and if Claire could bring him back after death, then maybe the rules of time were never what we thought they were. And if those rules are changing now, Jamie and Claire could be standing at the beginning of their most dangerous journey yet. The past is calling. The future is waiting. And somewhere between them is the answer to why Jamie and Claire were always meant to find each other. The more it feels like the story may have left one final door open. Jamie returned from death, Claire reached a level of healing power that seemed almost impossible. The strange connection between the stones and gemstones still remains. And their family is now spread across generations, with some members showing signs that they may be connected to the same mysterious forces. That means the next chapter may not only be about Jamie and Claire. It could be about the family they created and the secrets that family has carried through time. One of the most exciting possibilities would be seeing Jamie and Claire finally understand that their family is part of something much larger. For years, they have treated time travel as something mysterious that happens to certain people. But what if there is actually a pattern? What if the people who can travel through time are connected by more than blood? What if certain families have been carrying this ability for generations without understanding where it came from? And what if Jamie's strange experience with death has finally revealed a piece of that mystery? This could bring Roger and Brianna back into the center of the story. Their journey has always been different from Jamie and Claire's. Jamie and Claire were pulled together by fate, while Roger and Brianna had to discover their own connection while trying to understand the impossible world their parents had created. They have already experienced time travel, separation, danger, and the challenge of raising a family between two different worlds, but they may now be facing their biggest responsibility yet, their children, because the next generation could be the most important part of the entire story. Imagine Roger and Brianna realizing that their children may have inherited the same strange ability. At first, they might not understand what is happening. A child could hear the mysterious buzzing near a gemstone. Another could describe a place they have never visited. Maybe one of them could have dreams about people from another century. These small moments would seem harmless at first, but eventually Roger and Brianna would realize that something is happening. And if Jamie and Claire are involved, they would immediately understand how serious it could be. Claire would probably be fascinated by the possibility, but also worried. She knows how dangerous time travel can become. She has seen what happens when people enter a time that does not belong to them. She has experienced the pain of losing years with her family, so she would not want her grandchildren to make the same mistakes. Jamie would have a completely different reaction. He would want to protect them. But this time, protecting his family could mean teaching them. Jamie has spent his entire life learning how to survive. He knows how to fight, how to read people, how to understand danger, and how to make impossible decisions. If his grandchildren are going to face something as dangerous as time travel, Jamie would want them to be prepared. That could give us a beautiful new side of him. Instead of Jamie the warrior, we could see Jamie the grandfather. And that could be one of the sweetest parts of Season 9. After everything he has been through, Jamie deserves the chance to enjoy his family. He deserves to sit with his grandchildren, hear their stories, laugh with them, and watch them grow. These are the moments that have been missing from his life, because history has always demanded something from him. Now, perhaps he finally gets to live. But Outlander has never been a story where happiness lasts without a challenge. The moment Jamie and Claire begin to understand that their family has a deeper connection to time, another question would appear. Who else knows about it? Because if time travel is real, someone will eventually try to control it. And that person could become the new threat. The danger would not have to come from a traditional villain. It could come from someone who believes that changing history is necessary. Maybe they have lost someone and want to go back and prevent the loss. Maybe they want to stop a war. Maybe they want to change a political event. Or maybe they simply want power. And if they discover that Jamie and Claire's family has the ability to cross time, they could begin hunting them. That would force the entire family to work together. Jamie and Claire, Roger and Brianna, William, Ian and Rachel, and the younger generation. For perhaps the first time, we could see everyone united around one goal: protect the family. And that would be very different from the earlier seasons. In the past, Jamie and Claire were often fighting alone. They had allies, of course, but the main burden usually fell on them. Now they have a much larger family with their own skills, experiences, and connections. Roger understands history and religion in ways that could help them understand the mystery. Brianna understands technology and the modern world. Claire understands medicine and the strange forces surrounding time. Jamie understands people, survival, and the dangers of the past. William understands the world of war and politics. Ian has his own experience with danger and survival. And the younger generation could bring something none of them have: a connection to the future. That combination could make the family stronger than ever, but it could also create conflict, because everyone would not agree on what should happen. Claire might want to understand the rules before anyone travels again. Jamie might believe they should stay away from the stones completely. Brianna might argue that the family cannot hide forever. Roger might believe that some events are meant to happen. And William might want to use the opportunity to change something from his own past. That would be dangerous, because the temptation to change history is one of the most powerful ideas Outlander could explore. Think about William. He has spent years dealing with questions about his identity and his relationship with Jamie. What if he discovered that time travel could allow him to change some of the moments that shaped his life? Would he do it? Jamie would tell him no. Claire would probably tell him that changing history has consequences. But William might still be tempted, and that would create a powerful father and son conflict. Jamie would have to choose between respecting William's choices and protecting him from making a mistake that could destroy more than just his own life. This could be the moment when Jamie finally understands that being a father is not about making every decision for your child. It is about trusting them. And perhaps William would eventually prove that he has learned from Jamie. He would choose not to change the past. Not because he does not want to, but because he finally understands that his past made him who he is. That could bring his story full circle. And while William deals with his own identity, Ian and Rachel could finally receive the peaceful future they deserve. Their relationship has survived so much, and after everything they have experienced, it would be wonderful to see them build a family without another major tragedy immediately waiting around the corner. Ian has always been a character who carries emotional weight quietly. He has lost people, lived through violence, and had to make difficult choices. Rachel has brought a different kind of warmth into his life. Together, they could represent something that Jamie and Claire rarely had: a chance at peace. Season 9 could spend more time showing Ian becoming a father, and that would create another connection to Jamie. Because Jamie could look at Ian and realize that the young man he once knew has now become a father himself. The Fraser family has continued to grow, despite everything history tried to take away from them. That could be one of the central messages of the final chapter. History destroys, but family survives. And perhaps that is why the story keeps returning to the same idea. Love survives time. That phrase has always been at the heart of Jamie and Claire's relationship. They were separated by centuries. They were separated by war. They were separated by distance, and yet they always found each other. Even death could not keep them apart. So if Season 9 happens, the story should not simply ask whether Jamie and Claire will survive another danger. It should ask whether their love has finally changed the rules of their world. Because maybe that is what Jamie's return from death really means. Maybe their connection has become stronger than time itself. And perhaps that is why Jamie's ghost was able to find Claire. Not because he was simply a ghost, but because their bond exists outside normal time. That possibility could completely change how we understand their story. What if Jamie and Claire were always connected? What if Claire was always meant to travel back? What if Jamie's ghost was always meant to appear? What if the flowers were always meant to bloom? Then the entire story becomes a loop. Claire travels back because Jamie creates the flowers. Jamie creates the flowers because Claire traveled back. They meet because they were always meant to meet. And their family exists because that meeting was already part of history. It is complicated, but it is also incredibly romantic, because it means their love was never an accident. It was part of time itself. And Season 9 could finally allow them to understand that. But understanding the truth could come with a cost, because if they are part of a closed loop, what happens if they try to change it? Could changing one event destroy everything that follows? Could saving one person cause another person to die? Could bringing Jamie back have already changed something? These questions could create an enormous amount of suspense. Claire might begin worrying that by saving Jamie, she has disturbed the balance of time. Jamie might refuse to believe that his life should be sacrificed again. And for once, Claire might have to accept that she cannot control everything. That could be one of her hardest lessons. Craigh has always been a woman who fights against fate. She refuses to accept that someone she loves has to die simply because history says it should happen. She has fought for Jamie, for her children, for her patients, and for the people around her. But perhaps Season 9 would ask Craigh to fight a different battle, the battle against her own fear. Because after bringing Jamie back, she may become terrified of losing him again. Every time he leaves the house, she could worry. Every time he touches the stones, she could fear the worst. Every time Jamie mentions the future, Craigh might wonder whether he is being pulled away from her. And Jamie would notice. He would understand. He has always known Craigh better than almost anyone. So he might tell her something simple. He is not going anywhere. And that could become one of the most emotional moments of the season. Because Jamie has spent years promising Craigh that he would find her. Now, for the first time, he could promise her that he will stay. But staying may not be as easy as it sounds. If Jamie's connection to time becomes stronger, he may eventually be pulled through without choosing it. And Craigh could be forced to follow. That could bring them to another period in history. Maybe the future. Maybe a time they have never seen. Maybe even a moment that involves one of their descendants. And this is where the story could become truly surprising. What if Jamie and Craigh meet someone in the future who knows their names? Someone who has been waiting for them? Someone who knows exactly what happened to their family? That person could reveal that the Fraser family has become part of a much larger story. Maybe their descendants have been protecting the secret of time travel for generations. Maybe they have been waiting for Jamie and Craigh to return. Maybe they know that one final event has to happen before the time loop can close. And suddenly, the couple who thought they were finally finished with their adventures would realize they have one last mission. Not to change history, not to conquer anything, but to protect the future of their family. That would give Season 9 an emotional purpose. Jamie and Craigh would not be traveling because they are bored or because another war needs them. They would be traveling because their family needs them. And after spending so much of their lives fighting for survival, that would be a beautiful final reason for them to continue. Meanwhile, Roger and Brianna could face their own decision. Should they stay in their own time, or should they follow Jamie and Craigh? Brianna may have spent years trying to decide where she belongs. She understands the future because she was born there. But she also understands the past because she lived in it. She has always existed between two worlds. Perhaps her children will have the same problem. And maybe that is the real legacy of the Fraser family. They are no longer people who belong to one time. They belong to each other. That could become the emotional heart of the final season. Not the stones, not the battles, not even time travel. Family. Because after all these years, that is what Jamie and Craigh have built. They started as two people who met under impossible circumstances. Then they became husband and wife, then parents, then grandparents, and now they have created a family that stretches across centuries. Their greatest achievement may not be surviving history. It may be creating something that history could not destroy. And if Season 9 really were the final chapter, that is exactly where the story should eventually lead. Back to family, back to Jamie and Craigh, back to the love that started everything. But before they can finally rest, there may be one last mystery waiting at the stones. A mystery involving the gemstones, a mystery involving the buzzing, a mystery involving Jamie's return. And perhaps the biggest question of all, was Jamie really brought back from death by Craigh's power alone, or did something on the other side choose to send him back? Because if someone, or something, allowed Jamie to return, then Craigh may not have saved him by accident. She may have been part of a much bigger plan. And if that plan is finally revealed in Season 9, everything we thought we knew about Jamie and Craigh's story could change forever. What if the biggest surprise of Season 9 is not another war, another enemy, or another separation? What if it is the discovery that Jamie and Craigh's entire journey has been leading toward one final destination? After everything they have survived, they may finally learn why they were brought together in the first place. And if that truth is connected to the stones, Jamie's ghost, Craigh's healing power, and the strange abilities appearing in their family, then the final chapter could become the most emotional part of the entire story. For years, Jamie and Craigh have been running from one crisis to another. They have crossed oceans, survived battles, lost people they loved, and been separated by time itself. But through all of it, they always found their way back to each other. Even when Jamie believed death was waiting for him, he still thought about Claire. Even when Claire believed she had lost Jamie forever, she refused to accept it. Their relationship has never been ordinary. It has always felt like something stronger than normal love. And now, after Jamie's return, that connection could finally be explained. Perhaps the stones did not bring Claire to Jamie by accident. Perhaps Jamie's ghost did not appear to Claire by accident. Perhaps the flowers were not simply a beautiful coincidence. Maybe every piece of their story was connected. If that is true, then Season 9 could finally reveal the reason behind their connection. And that revelation could come from someone unexpected. Brianna. Brianna has always been fascinated by the strange parts of her family's history, but she also has the ability to look at the impossible with a practical mind. She understands science, technology, and engineering. Claire understands medicine. Roger understands history. Jamie understands the people and traditions of the past. Together, they could finally begin putting the pieces together. Brianna might discover that the stones are not random points in time. Perhaps there are patterns in where they appear, when they become active, and which people can use them. Maybe the gemstones are not simply tools. Maybe they are amplifiers. And perhaps people with a certain family connection are able to interact with them differently. That would explain why some characters hear the buzzing. It would explain why certain people can travel. And it could explain why Jamie's connection to time appears to be different. But there could be one more detail. The stones may not simply allow people to travel through time. They may respond to emotional connections. That would explain why Claire always seems to be pulled towards certain moments. Love may not be just an emotional force in Outlander. It may actually be part of how time works. If Jamie and Claire's bond is strong enough to cross centuries, perhaps that bond is what allows them to find each other. That would make their entire relationship even more meaningful. They did not defeat time. They became part of it. And that could be why their story continues repeating itself. Jamie sees Claire before she meets him. Claire travels to the past. They fall in love. They separate. They find each other. Jamie dies. Claire brings him back. And now they may be approaching the moment when the entire loop finally becomes clear. But there is a darker possibility. What if the loop is not supposed to continue forever? What if Jamie and Claire have to make one final choice? Perhaps they discover that time is becoming unstable because too many people have crossed through it. Every journey has consequences. Every change creates another possibility. And eventually, the boundaries between different timelines could begin breaking down. This would put their entire family at risk. Imagine Roger and Brianna waking up one morning and discovering that something about their world has changed. A person they remember is suddenly gone. A historical event happened differently. A place they knew no longer exists. Their children remember one version of history while their parents remember another. At first, they might think it is a mistake, but then Claire realizes the truth. Someone has changed the past, and the change is spreading. That would force Jamie and Claire into one final mission. They would have to find out who changed history and why. But this time, they would not be fighting against a traditional enemy. They would be fighting against a chain of events that has already begun. And the only way to stop it might be to return to the exact moment where everything started. Craigh, the place where Claire first entered the past. The place where Jamie's ghost appeared. The place where the flowers connected their stories. Returning there would bring the story full circle. Jamie and Claire would stand together at the stones, older and wiser than they were the first time.